Yeah, what's going on, fam? It's your man VACAY-J, and we are back with another recap, another video of Tyler Perry's Ruthless Season 2, and we're going to recap today episode 17. And this one was definitely intense and very revealing, right? So we're going to get into this recap, but before we do that, make sure you get all caught up on everything and check out all my previous recaps before episode 17 so you don't miss anything and you get caught up on everything. So now let's get into episode 17 recap and review for Tyler Perry's Ruthless. So the name of this episode is Into the Woods, and it reads, Manny catches Zane in a compromising position and uses it to his advantage. Herbert and Liz become entangled with the Rakudushis when Tally finds a safe haven at their ranch, right? The Rakudushis. All right, so let's get into it. We find Zane, and shout out to Zane, man. Like, Zane is the real MVP. She brought food to, the girls, and now she's bringing food to your boy Oliver. And Oliver, he's surprised, and he's like, okay, I appreciate that, and everything. So she gives him the food. And he's like, thank you, and everything. But he's like, listen, I'm going to need you to go get a strap. And she's like, what are you talking about? How do I do that? They might catch me. He's like, listen, there's a black truck. When the guards go on break, they put the straps in the truck. So just give me one little strap and bring it back to me, because if you don't, they're going to take us out, really. Like, she's like, I don't know. She's like, listen, he's like, listen, if you don't do this, we're all going to die. So I need you to bring that strap back, because we got to defend ourselves. And I got to definitely, get Lacey out and Paula and you as well. So he's like, listen, if you don't do this, we're all going to die. So definitely get that strap. It's in the black truck, right? She's like, I'll try, right? So she goes to the black truck, right? And she finds the strap on the seat. She takes the strap and she goes ahead and she puts one of the straps, little strap, into one of her boots, right? She closes it up, right? And everything looks good, right? I mean, she looks like she's going to get away with this, but look who rolls up. Your boy Manny, boy. This dude rolls up like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I was going to go up to the next level, get a little breeze or whatever. And she's basically lying to him, of course, just so he doesn't know that she has the strap. So he's like, really? She's like, yeah, I'm just hot and everything. And, and she's smiling and everything, but it's the wrong smile, because, it's late. He's like, hey, you trying to meet a man or something like that? She's like, no, I just want to get a breeze. And then this dude goes into, I'm too sexy, right? He's like, oh, you think I'm sexy? And she's like, what? She's like, do you think I'm sexy? And now she realizes that he's trying to come on to her. I was like, oh, man. He's like, yeah, I think you're sexy too, because I saw you in the showers. I'm like, man, this dude is such a creep, right? Super creep. Didn't even know it. These guards, they be out there. So he tried to violate. He tried to kiss her. And she's like, no, like, get off or whatever, right? But then she's like, listen, if you want to do something, you want to mess around, and meet me by the tree. And he's like, nah, right? So he violates, man. That's all I'm going to say. He violates. Yeah, right? Shout out to Zane, though, man. Like, for real. But this dude is definitely a creep. And you already know he's going to get his. He's going to get his for what he did. Now, back at the Highest's trailer, elder mother Marva, she shows up. Tells the guys to leave. They sit down and talk. And this gets pretty intense here. This guy, the Highest, man, he goes into how the birth mother, that's what he calls his mother, the birth mother, used to be a prostitute and used to sell herself and hide him in the closet. Told him never to come out. And if he did, then she would definitely beat him. So he would make noise in the closet and everything. And she would, after she was finished, she would beat him and all this and that. And of course, he called the guys the Dark Walkers, right? That's what he called them. The Dark Walkers would come in and violate the birth mother. And it was a real sad story. And he's like, we got to protect the children. We got to protect the children because, There was a time that he made too much noise because he had to go to the bathroom, and the guy locked the door, kicked the mother out, and he had his way with the innocent. That's what he called himself, the innocent. And it's real sad. You see elder mother's face like, oh, this is so sad, right? Super sad. So now we're at the Herbert's house, right? Herbert and Liz, they're having a little TV dinner, and they hear some rustling outside, right? Here's some rustling outside. They go outside. Before he does, he tells her to get the strap. You already know. So he gets the strap, goes outside, and who do we see? We see Tally hiding on their porch. You know, she's still running away because they're coming after. He's like, what are you doing here? She's like, get off the porch. He's like, no, I need a hiding place. Can I hide? You know, she's real afraid. You know, she's terrified. And they see that, and they're wondering why she's so terrified. They realize that she was the one that stole their truck a while back. Like, we're talking about the first season, right? The first episode. And she's like, I'm sorry. I just need a safe place. Meanwhile, here comes the ATVs and Daikon. They're on the property. And she's like, please, can you hide me? So they tell her to go inside, and they hide her, right? They tell her to go inside and hide her. So now Mr. Herbert, he sees Daikon roll up. So he got the strap, and he rolls over, and Daikon gets to talking to Mr. Herbert. Hey, Mr. Herbert, how you doing? You know, we're looking for one of our runaways. And he's like, runaway? Oh, why would anybody want to run away or whatever, right? Of course. And he's like, did you see anybody? And this guy, Mr. Herbert, man, what a clown. He's like, no, I didn't see her. You know, she didn't come here. And he's like, her? And Daikon, you know, he's quick. He's like, I didn't say anything about a her, right? Yeah, he said, what? So Herbert acted like he was confused, but he definitely misspoke. So he's like, oh, I misspoke. Listen, there's nobody on here except for me and my wife. And he's like, you better leave before I call the sheriff, right? So Daikon, he picks up on it. He's not stupid. He's like, okay, all right, you have a good night, Mr. Herbert, whatever. And then they drive off, right? He knows what's going on. Like, the dude, Mr. Herbert, you botched up. He's like, I didn't see her. He's like, I didn't say her, right? So, you know, Tally's inside. She's so afraid, hiding behind the couch. Mr. Herbert comes back in, talks to Liz, like, you okay? You okay? And they're like, listen, we got to call the sheriff. And she's like, please, don't call the sheriff. Don't call the sheriff. He's in on it, too. He's like, what are you talking about? He's in on it. You know, they don't believe him. You know, they're like, yeah, the sheriff goes to the church with us. What are you talking about? So, you know, Herbert calls in and speaks to Irene at the sheriff's department. She's like, hey, you know, put the sheriff on the phone. Meanwhile, Tally's like, man, I know everything. And these guys, they're all in it. They're all in on it, you know. Like, Herbert doesn't know, Liz doesn't know, and Irene doesn't know. But the sheriff knows what's going on because, again, we found out from the last episode that, yeah, they bring the money to the sheriff to keep them quiet so the sheriff won't mess with them, right? So Mr. Herbert is on some like, hey, listen, come up here. We got one of the people from the campus over here. And she's like, what did he say? He's asking, did she tell you anything else? And he's like, nah. So he's like, I'm going to be over there. I'm going to go. I'm going to come up there and whatever, right? So, man, she's like, listen, you don't know what you're messing with. The sheriff is all part of it. This is crazy. It's all crazy. So, of course, Irene, she don't know what's going on. She has no idea. It's only the sheriff. He's in on it. Remember, Lilo is, you know, a PO. He was a PO, right? So, you know, the sheriff's in on everything. So what does Daikon and the boys do? They sitting outside the house on the ATVs. And Daikon's like, hey, listen, you're going to watch this house. We're going to go back to the campus. You watch the house. And if she comes out, definitely get her and track her down. He says, get her and track her down, right? So now Clark is just going to stay there and watch the house, okay? And, yeah, they're not playing. They coming after everybody that left. You know, they don't want nobody to know about what's really going on that campus. Meanwhile, Zane, a real MVP. I call her a real MVP for real. She gets the strap, gives the strap to Oliver, right? So Oliver's like, thank you. You just saved us and everything. And she went through a heck of a lot. And he's like, listen, you know, we're going to get out of here. We're going to take them out. We're going to make sure we get out of there. And she's real, you know, because she was violated. She's like, listen, don't leave me. I'm ready to go too. Like, this is crazy. And she's real upset. And I understand why you would be, Zane. You know, shout out to you for real, because you going all out trying to save your peoples. Meanwhile, we see your boy, the Lois, and Marva, elder mother Marva. And they're talking about the kids. They're going through the kids' trailer, talking about their innocence and everything. We got to protect them. And we all got to go out together so we can meet the Rakudushi, the Rakuman, and all this and that. And they do a little Rakuman. And it's like, man, he is just really explaining how, you know, he's really feeling how the innocence of the kids, and we got to protect the kids. But he's trying to get everybody to go out together to meet the Raku. Like, the dude is sick. Like, the highest, he's definitely sick. And we see why he's sick. We're understanding now. They go outside and he starts crying. And she's like, why are you crying? And then he proceeds to tell her the story about how the birth mother, that's what he calls his mom, you know, was again in a hotel, puts him in the closet. He's trying not to make noise. And it's two dudes now, you know, with the birth mother. That's what he calls his mom. And he's in the closet and he hears these strange noises and these like evil sounds from these dudes. And then, man, he waits in there till the next day, and he comes out and he sees his mom dead, and she's looking right in his eyes, and it's like crazy. And she's like, "Oh, is there anything I could do? I'm so sorry." She's like, "How old were you?" And he tells her he was 6 years old when all of this was going on, man. Crazy, right? So elder mother Marva feels bad. She's like, I'm gonna do something for you. You know, I gotta do something. He's like, no, just give me some love. And they're like, Rakuman, Rakuman. It's like, man, this dude was violated and his mom was killed at 6. Right? Crazy. So now we got your boy River. He's talking to Joan, and he's telling her, listen, Joan, you need to go get the keys. I can't go into the girls' trailer. You can go into the women's trailer, the yellow trailer, and just go and get the keys from Ruth. And she's going back and forth like, nah, I don't want to do it. He's like, listen, just do it. Like, seriously, like, it's coming down to the wire. Lilo's not coming anymore. He's dead. Like, this is what we have to do. So he's like, all right, I'm going to do it. And she's like, I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to do it, right? So he leaves. Now, back at the Herbert's house, Herbert and Liz. And again, Tally's like, listen, the sheriff's not coming. And they're like, why? Because she's like, because he's part of it. You know, they pay the sheriff not to, you know, mess around with them. At the same time, they bring him women from the campus. And she's explaining everything to Herbert and Liz. And they're like, that's crazy. We don't believe you. Like, the sheriff goes to church with us. It's not even possible. And she's like, see, I'm telling you, that's why I didn't want you to call him. And she's basically breaking it down, but of course they don't believe her. Why would they believe it? They don't know her. She stole their truck and everything. And it's like, listen, the sheriff's going to come and he's going to save us. You're going to be all right, right? So the sheriff comes through, and of course, Clark, he's looking, he calls Daikon, says, hey, the sheriff's here. So Daikon's like, listen, get up out of there. Leave the ATV. We don't want to make any noise. Just get up out of there and leave the ATV. We'll come back for that, but keep looking at the house or whatever, right? So, Clark gets off the ATV, walks away. Sheriff comes and speaks to Herbert and Liz. And he's like, all right, is she here? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, we'll bring her out. And Herbert's like, hey, listen, before we do all that, she said some things. She said that, and then the sheriff interrupts. He said, oh, she said that, yeah, I'm down with them, and that, they bring us money so we won't bother them, and that, they bring us girls too. And they're like, how do you know that? And the sheriff is lying now. He's like, yeah, they tell the people on the campus all these lies so they won't come to us and tell us anything, about what's going on, right? Lies to them so they won't come to the police. So they go inside to look for Tally, and of course, Tally's not there. She's not stupid. She knows what's going on. She, that's the sheriff is down with them. So, of course, they go inside, and the sheriff's like, listen, check your things because they've been known to steal, and really the sheriff is doing a great job at fooling these local people that he is not part of the Raku at all, right? So now Tally's running. Clark sees her, And he definitely tracks her down, right? Runs after her, tracks her down. And he's like, listen, you violated, we're going to take you back to the campus. He's like, please, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You know what's going on. They're doing this, that, and the third. He's like, no. And Clark, he is just all in. Like, he definitely bought into the Raku and everything. And she's like, no, no, please don't take me back. And then she tries to give herself to him. He's like, no, you're trying to seduce me. You're trying to, you're trying to do all this and that, and it's not going to work. He's like, man, you got us all in trouble by doing this and by leaving and by everything that you're doing. So he takes out the strap and he's like, listen, you're going to come with me right now. So they get to tussling and she's still trying to be like, hey, come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's violate the land. Let's defile the land right here. And he's like, nope, not going down, right? So they get to fighting and going back and forth. I mean, it gets real intense, man. Clark, you see his commitment, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be punished. So again, he takes out that strap. He's like, I'm not playing. You coming with me. But somehow, some way, she got away, right? She got away, got off, and she jumped on that ATV. Right? She hit him somewhere, and he was on the ground. And while he's on the ground, she gets on that ATV and gets away. Clark is really trying to blast. Like, he's really trying to get her. Like, it's crazy. Like, the dude, they all lost their mind, man, for real. So here goes your girl, Joan, right? She goes to the trailer, goes to Ruth's trailer. And Ruth was like, what the heck do you want? Like, she knows that Joan don't like her, and she don't like Joan. And Joan's like, yeah, I was going to the kitchen. I wanted to know if you needed anything. She's going in there because Melinda's in there too. And she's like, I don't need anything. Like, you should see Ruth's face like, yo, I am bothered right now. What are you doing? She's just like, yeah, I just thought that you wanted to, give something to me or me pick up something. So they go to the door away from Melinda. And Ruth is like, here's the keys. Like, I want this back. Right. So she's like, thank you very much. Thank you. She's happy that she easily got the keys from Ruth. But Ruth was like, yeah, I want it back. Ruth goes back in the room. Of course, Melinda, she has no clue. She's like, what was that? And Ruth was like, yeah, she's just playing with my mind. She knows I miss Sister Tally and all this and that, right? Okay. So River and Joan meet up. And Joan gives River the keys. And he's like, yeah, well, you might as well do it because you in there all day. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And they go back and forth about who's going to go and get the safe and open the safe. She's like, just don't mention my name. I don't know why she talking like, yo, don't mention my name. And your boy River's like, I ain't going to mention your name, bitch. I was like, this too crazy. And she's like, yeah, you so arrogant. So he leaves off, right? And Joan goes back to the trailer and she sees Zane, man. Again, shout out to Zane. She's the real MVP. She brought them food. She trying to look out for her sisters and Oliver and brought Oliver the strap. Like, she went through a heck of a lot just to help them out. She's really trying to look out for her people. Now, here goes your boy, River. And River goes to the accounting trailer, where Joan is always at, right? But it's at night. So he sneaks in there, but the lights are on, right? The lights are on. I guess the lights stayed on. I don't know. But for whatever reason, now he's going to the safe, and he's trying to get one of those 8 keys to open that safe so they can transfer the $3 million to another account. Look who rolls up. Of course, this is a Tyler Perry production, right? Daikon rolls up. He sees the light on, and he's listening, and he's hearing somebody rustling inside. And he sees River trying to mess with that safe. So he goes in there real quiet and he's looking, he's trying to see what he's doing and everything else like that. And your boy Daikon is like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, shoot. Your boy River got caught looking in that safe. What is going to happen to River? We shall see in the next episode of Tyler Perry's Ruthless Season 2. And this was the recap of episode 17. So family, let me know. What do you think is going to happen next? Is River going to get it? You already know Daikon is not playing, right? Is Tally really going to get away? We know that. She is going to get away. But what's going to happen next? We shall see in the next episode. Hey, I appreciate you guys for watching. Listen, if you're new and you're loving Ruthless, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Absolutely like, comment below, and hit that notification bell. And let's get into the next episode. I appreciate you all. And absolutely, let's keep this thing going. All right? And you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-J. Until next time, salute.